Welcome to the Church of Thomas, Breaking from Judaism, 4:8:11. In the way that God had interacted with the Jews, there was a great deal of laws, regulations, and things that were added later. There were also the Ten Commandments. And one of the things that Jesus had spoken about the Jews is that they had become solidified into a non-adaptive way of looking at the world. It became more about the rules and less about the spirit. More about the hierarchy and less about the giving. In Acts 11:4-10, they talked about the idea of the Gentiles accepting God and becoming Christians. And many of the Jewish followers of Jesus were appalled that these people were not being circumcised. It was a requirement to be Jewish in this sect of Judaism called Christianity to follow Levitical law. But that's not what Jesus had taught. And one of the things I found very interesting is that in Acts 11, Peter actually had a direct communication, so to speak, to help clarify the situation because he was trying to explain what was going on. Here it is. Acts 11:4-10. Then Peter began to explain it to them step by step, saying, I was in the city of Joppa praying, and in a trance I saw a vision. There was something like a large sheet coming down from heaven, being lowered by its four corners, and it came close to me. As I looked at it closely, I saw four-footed animals, beasts of prey, reptiles, birds of the air. And also I heard a voice saying to me, Get up, Peter, kill and eat. But I replied, But no, by no means, Lord, for nothing profane or unclean has ever entered my mouth. But a second time the voice answered from heaven, What God has made clean, you must not call profane. This happened 3 times, then everything was pulled up again into heaven. Reconciler Gospel also covers the idea of laws versus ideas. First one is Reconciler Gospel of Thomas, verse 6. Jesus' students asked him, Should we fast? How do you want us to pray? Should we give money for the poor? What special foods should we eat? And Jesus said, Tell no lies and do everything with love, because in this way all that was hidden will be obvious. Do not fast, you will sin. The one knows your bodies need nourishment. Prayer by formula will condemn you. Talk to the one from your heart instead. Do not give to the poor indirectly, because this will harm your soul as well. Give of your heart and self directly. When you go to another land, be respectful of their customs. Then, if they accept you, eat what you are offered. This acknowledges their act of hospitality. Heal anyone with them who is in need of healing. What you put in your mouth will not hurt your soul, but what you say can poison your soul if it is not true or said with malice. Reconciler Gospel of Thomas, verse 53. Jesus' students asked, Should your students and followers be circumcised? And Jesus said, No. If it were good for a person to be circumcised, they would have been circumcised in the womb. The only true circumcision would be of your spirit. And that's a very powerful idea. Not only have the restrictions on what you can eat be removed, but the covenant between the Jews and God is also made null and void. In Christianity, it isn't a piece of skin that is needed for sacrifice. It is your soul. It is your life. It is your commitment to follow the teachings of Jesus and to love God unconditionally back for the grace that's been given you. When the rules have been removed, And basic elements like teaching the 10 Commandments, basic ideas for how to get along with each other, and then put love first and foremost among all of the commandments, then we have reached what was originally meant by God. The extraneous rules that had been added by the Levites have been removed. Jesus explained and edified us concerning the idea of the 10 Commandments. Instead of it being rules, they were ways of thinking about the world. And when we think about the world in loving and giving ways, then it reflects in our actions. And that was the whole idea behind what Jesus was wanting. God removed the idea that nothing in the world was unclean. If we needed it for sustenance, if we were visiting a faraway land and they gave us something we are not familiar with eating, if we consume it, it will not hurt us. It will not hurt our souls. It will not hurt our bodies. What Jesus was saying is that what you take in is not what matters, but it's what is in your heart that comes out through your mouth. And that is what can poison you. Because if what comes out of your mouth is said as a lie or with malice, it is not of God. It is of Satan. So the way to live the rules that God has given us is to follow the basic 10 Commandments, to understand what Jesus was saying about the 10 Commandments as a broad way of looking at the world instead of as nitpicky little rules, and the idea that love is the highest commandment and all others should evolve from it. God bless the whole world, no exceptions. Inshallah.